Now that COVID-19 has been ravaging the country, they introduce what you call a warp speed, meaning that they're false tracking the vaccines. But now that they're fast tracking it, they're looking for Black people to participate in the vaccines trials, which includes them injecting you with the vaccines. Now, these trials, they have to have like everybody participating, Black, whites, Latinos. No, the Black people, they don't want to participate. They're having problems finding enough Black people to participate in doing the trials. And Blacks don't want to do this trial because they have been burnt in the past. No, Black people right now, they don't trust the scientists. Reason being, Blacks are always been used as guinea pigs in the past, and they do not trust what's going on right now. They don't want to be the guinea pigs anymore. In the past, Black has been used as guinea pigs. Here, take a look.
Georgia, Dawn Baker not only anchors the news, she made huge headlines herself last month. She was the first volunteer as part of a phase 3 clinical trial in the U.S. to get injected with a potential COVID-19 vaccine, the final step before a drug can be approved.
You've had 2 doses.
Yes, yesterday, Monday was my second dose.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. I had the
no side effects.
My arm was sore, similar to when you get a flu shot.
Her private doctor for 30 years, who's involved in the study of a drug produced by Moderna, asked her to do it.
Had to make sure that it wasn't a live virus and that there was no way that I could get COVID-19 from being a part of the study.
After seeing so much suffering due to COVID, especially in the African-American community, Baker stepped up.
I've had friends who've lost very close relatives, people that I know. I've also had some friends who have passed as well from COVID-19. So it kind of made sense to me that, you know, instead of just being afraid, how was I going to be a part of the solution?
She's gotten a lot of praise and more on social media.
And as you told me, some people think you're absolutely crazy.
Of course they do. I mean,
what's your response to that?
Well, you know, I really have decided that, you know, being an on-air person, I learned a long time ago that you really can't read comments because there are going to be just as many people who love you as hate you. One comment was, you know, this sister isn't woke because she's worked for white people too long. She doesn't know they'll try to kill us.
Sounds extreme, but it's an example of the deep mistrust of the medical establishment that exists in the African American and other minority communities. And the reason researchers say they're having trouble finding enough minority participants in the COVID vaccine studies. So far, of some 360,000 online volunteers for vaccine trials, only 40,000 are minorities, much lower than their share of the overall population.
We want them represented in vaccine trials so that we can ensure that the vaccine works well in these populations, since they're most at risk.
What do you say to people who are mistrustful of this process and the medical establishment generally, and the government for that matter?
Yeah, I first start by saying I understand. I get it.
Dr. Stefan Wallace leads the effort to involve a diverse array of volunteers in the trials, especially from minority communities where the pandemic has hit disproportionately hard.
I think that the medical establishment has a lot of work to do to build relationships and build trust and to make amends for a lot of the issues that have occurred in communities over the years.
Wallace and other experts say perhaps no issue hangs heavier than the Tuskegee syphilis study. Beginning in the 1930s, some 600 men involved in a U.S. government study of how the then rampant disease developed if left untreated.
What was so terrible about that was, first of all, they were not told that they were being studied.
Lily Tyson Head's father, Freddie Tyson, back then was a sharecropper, devoted father of 8, and once a fireman at the airfield where the famed Tuskegee Airmen trained.
And they were not told that they had syphilis. And then when penicillin came out, they were not allowed to get the penicillin for treatment or cure.
No one knew the truth for some 40 years.
The Associated Press reported today the Public Health Service conducted a 40-year experiment on 600 people with syphilis and purposely denied treatment to 200 of them to see what effect this would have on the human body.
The U.S. government settled a lawsuit. Decades after that, President Clinton apologized.
What the United States government did was shameful, and I am sorry.
How much of your grandfather's experience is what's motivating you now?
So my grandfather and I were really, quite close. He helped raise me.
Granddaughter Carmen Thornton is a public health expert. Tyson's family hopes part of the men's legacy will be greater involvement by people of color in the medical community. They're encouraging volunteers to get involved in the clinical trials and every aspect of the effort to fight COVID-19.
What would you say to these researchers, drug companies, others who are trying to recruit people of color into these studies?
Nothing about us without us. There has to be involvement in very strategic planned approaches that include minority population and representation around that table when the plans are starting.
With several more phase 3 clinical trials about to get underway in the U.S. and tens of thousands of volunteers needed as soon as possible, drug makers and researchers say they're stepping up outreach, especially in Black and Latinx communities.
In the past, Black people were tricked. They were not told the truth, and they were always being used as guinea pigs. In the 1930s, Black people was tricked by the US government. Knowing and seeing all that, would you participate in the trial? Would you want to be injected with the vaccine? Seeing all the history that they did to Black people, would you want to do it, just to ensure that it will help us also? The US government have been fast-tracking the vaccines, and with everything that's going on, people are not sure enough time is being given, or is it safe? Because what now would take years is taking months. So everything is being fast-tracked, and given the history that Black people have with scientists and they were not truthful to Black people, then this is a reason why Blacks do not want to participate. They don't trust the system. They don't trust what the US government is saying about the vaccines. They don't trust the scientists. And that's the reason why Blacks are not participating. But would you participate? Would you want them to inject you? No. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think about the whole situation. Please like, subscribe, and share, and leave your comments down below, because I would want to see what you guys think about the whole situation, and seeing that we once had gotten burnt and they're not really truthful when it comes to Black people. Do you trust the system? Do you trust the US government? Do you trust these scientists to experiment on you? Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching.